Alright, 5th grade, welcome back to another video. This is Math Lessons with Mr. Morris. I'm Mr. Morris, thanks for joining me. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be dividing fractions. We're going to do two different things. We're going to divide a whole number by a fraction, or a fraction by a whole number, and then a fraction divided by a fraction. Okay, so we'll start off with, let's go with a whole number by a fraction. So I'm going to give you something like this. I'm going to give you 4 divided by 10 over 11. Okay, so basically what you have to do is you have to take the whole number, and this is just like we did with multiplying. You take the whole number and you make the whole number a fraction, so it becomes 4 over 1. Okay, that's your first step. Your second step, we have our 4 over our 1. We take the second fraction, and this is the rule. It's always going to be the second fraction, and you flip it, okay? It's called the reciprocal. But for you guys, it's basically we're just taking 10 over 11 and we're flipping it to become 11 over 10. And then once you flip it, once you take that reciprocal, division now becomes multiplication. And now you're looking at a multiplication problem, which we've already done. So what you now have to do is you have to take this problem and you have to basically just look to cross reduce like you were taught earlier when you multiplied fractions. We're going to take the 4 and divide by 2, and we're going to take the 10 and divide by 2 because we're cross reducing. So you're cutting it in half. Half of 4 is going to get me 2. Half of 10 is going to get me 5. And I'm left with the 11 and the 1, which I can't do anything with. So we're going to multiply across the top, which is going to give me 22 over 5. Okay, well, now it's improper. You got to make it mixed. How many 5s are going to squeeze into 22? Well, I know that 5 times 4 is going to get me 20. I got to get to 22, so I know there's going to be 2 left over out of the possible 5. And your answer is 4 2/5. Okay, so that's a whole number divided by a fraction. Let's do one more whole number divided by a fraction, but this time we'll do a fraction divided by a whole number. Well, I'll just reverse it. I'll switch everything up. Okay, so let's erase this. And I'm going to now divide a fraction by a whole number. So let's see what I have here. Let's try, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Let's do the same combination of numbers. Let's go 10 over 11 again. And let's divide it by the whole number of 5, okay? Nothing changes. It's the same thing over and over again. We're going to take that 5. We're going to make it a fraction. I'm going to put a 1 under it. Okay, now, to divide, we have to take the second fraction. There it is. And we are going to flip it. F-L-I-P. Flip it. All right, the fancy word is reciprocal, but I'm not going to spell that for you. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the second fraction, and 5 over 1 is now going to become 1 over 5. And once we flip it, division now becomes multiplication. Now this first fraction, all I got to do is just slide it on down. And now we have basically a multiplication problem. So I'm going to look to cross reduce. Okay, I'm going to look to cross reduce. And I know 5 divided by 5 is going to help me. And I know whatever I do here, I'm going to have to do to the 10. So 10, I'm going to divide that by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2. Yes, I had to think about that. And 1 and 11, I don't do anything with. So now I'm going to multiply across the top, which is going to give me the number 2. And multiply across the bottom, which is going to give me 11. And my final answer is going to be 2 over 11. Okay, so that was a fraction divided by a whole number. Okay, all right, so now we're going to switch gears. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to keep that word flip it up there for you. We're going to now take a fraction and divide a fraction by a fraction. Okay. All right. So let's go back to black. All right, let's get this pen revved up and ready to go. And let me flip my note paper. And I got another problem here saved for you. Okay, here we go. We're going to go 1/9. And we're going to divide 1/9 by 3/81. Yes, I designed these problems to force you to cross reduce. Okay, so we're going to look at the word flip it for the second fraction. It's always the second fraction. It's never the first fraction. Don't flip the first fraction. The first fraction, I can actually swing down and just keep it the same, okay? The second fraction is where I'm going to now take the reciprocal, and that means to flip it. You flip the second fraction, so it's going to become 81/3. And once you flip it, now division becomes multiplication, okay? Now you can see my way of thinking. I picked these two numbers strategically. So I'm going to take 9 and divide it by 9. And whatever I do to the bottom, I can do to the top. I'm going to take 81 and divide it by 9. So 9 divided by 9 is going to give me 1. 81 divided by 9 is going to give me 9. 1 and 3, can't do anything with it. So we're going to do 1 times 9, which is going to give me 9. 1 times 3, which is going to give me 3. That's improper. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, well, 3 times what is going to get me to 9? 3 times 3. And that is your answer. Okay, let's do one more for the road. One more for the road. So I'm going to erase everything that's up here, but I'm going to keep that word flip it. And I'm going to keep flip it there. Okay, flip it is what we're going to need to do, or to keep up there, so you can use it as a rule to follow by. Eventually you won't need it there, but I'm trying to get you guys accustomed to remembering to do it, because if you forget to do it, you're not going to get any of these problems right. All right, so I'm going to give you the fraction, we'll say 5/6. And we're going to divide 5/6 by, let's say, 5/12. Okay, so second fraction, flip it. It becomes 12/5. And once we flip, division now becomes multiplication. First fraction, pretty easy. Just swing it on down. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little highlighter here, and whenever we have two of the same number, identical numbers, 5 and 5, we can automatically turn them into ones, because what we're doing is we're dividing it by itself. Okay, and then 6 and 12, well, I know I can divide 6 by 6, and I know I can divide 12 by 6. So that 6 is going to become 1, and that 12 is going to become 2. I had to think about that. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, 12 divided by 6 is 2. Okay, so look what I'm left with. I'm left with 1 times 2, which is 2. 1 times 1, which is 1, to get a grand total of 2. And that's my answer. Just remember, you always flip the second fraction. That's the main rule, the heart of the whole problem. Once you flip the second fraction, then division automatically will become multiplication, and really just becomes a general multiplication problem. And that's today's video. Thanks for stopping by, and come on back real soon. We got more. There's more in store. We're only just beginning. Thanks for coming by.